Hey guys, it's Eric Crowder from Nerdy Geek Talks, source of all your nerdy geeky needs. Here with episode 34 of Steel City Bots. I had to double check really quick because I forgot. It was a little bit since I checked. But yes, it's episode 34. Joining me, we have Jared. How are you?
Good. A little upset about what just happened, but good.
He literally just tore apart a figure immediately.
I didn't tear it apart. It tore itself apart.
Well, okay, yeah, I didn't mean it was your fault. He's salty about it. But it was less than 10 seconds before I started the recording. But it wasn't a Transformer, so don't worry. It was just a Marvel Legends. I love Marvel Legends, so it still sucks. And Miguel, how are you, Miguel?
Jared's a murderer.
What did poor symbiote Spider-Man ever do to you, Jared?
Nothing. I just love this. I just love the most recent Venom trailer. That's all. So he deserved to die for it.
I actually absolutely love the most recent Venom trailer, but that's not what we're here to discuss. Yeah, actually, yes, this is it. This is us. We're a bit smaller this week, but that's okay. And just for the sake of things, I decided to not make it a big episode because there were a few things in the news, but really not that much. So we're going to mention those real quick, and then we're going to have a fun Q&A episode because we have a massive list of question and answers to go through. So I figured, why not just go through those and then put out a new queue, because we did a lot better on the last one that I put out. We got a bunch of questions. It's been a while, so I figured we could go through most of these and then get a new one out soon. So, yeah. So, in the news, there's only 3 things I really wanted to mention. First 2 are toy-related. So the first one is Nemesis Prime. It appears we know where Nemesis Prime, for Proud of the Prime's leader class, Nemesis Prime, will be revealed. Not revealed, released. So where you can buy it. Probably the most important thing about it. It is an exclusive, which we already knew, but it's not a convention exclusive. It is an Amazon exclusive. How do you guys feel about this?
I don't know.
You're not happy about it?
I'm happy about it, but just wasn't expecting it to be an exclusive for Amazon. I knew it was going to be an exclusive, just not for Amazon.
Better than San Diego Comic-Con, because we'll actually be able to buy this.
Fair.
I just hope that it's... Because I remember when Groove popped up for Combiner Wars.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? When Groove popped up, it was hard to get a hold of. It would go in stock, quickly go out of stock.
Yeah. Did you ever find out why? Do you know why?
I don't.
So
I don't remember.
So it was the May Mayhem release. They screwed up the production on it. Most of those figures were unusable. So there was a very, very small quantity available for the actual release. That's why it was actually easy to get. How was it, September that year or something?
Yeah, it was
much later, and it sucked because. But the thing is, they never told us that until long after.
Right.
So yeah, it was awful. Now, hopefully that's not the case here, but yeah.
Right, because then there was another instance when what were they called?
Quickslinger.
Quickslinger and
Breakneck.
Breakneck, yeah, Wild Rider and Slingshot.
Yeah.
When they showed up, because they showed up everywhere, but when I think Amazon was the first one to have them listed, you had to go through a Google cache copy of it, and you could order it before they actually went live. So that's how a lot of people ordered it. That's how I ordered mine.
What? I did not know about that. Now, this was much earlier into my collecting years. I was pretty into collecting at the point, but not nearly as much as I am now. So, but I was not aware of that.
It was crazy because the product listing disappeared, but if you went through anything that would have kept a cached copy of it, you could then order it, and I think that's how I did it. And then eventually BBTS and everyone else showed up, and now what is it? Those deluxes go for $60 each. Just crazy.
Although they were available for it wasn't too hard to get them when they came out.
No,
though. Yeah.
they were available for a while. I do hope that there's a steady stream of Nemesis Primes available, and maybe even later on we see him also show up at like maybe BBTS and Entertainment Earth, because that's something that happens with exclusives. They'll show up exclusives at one place in the beginning, and then they'll make their way to other places.
So this is technically the other news item, but it relates to this. Is the fact that Transformers Movie Masterpiece Barricade is hitting Amazon now. Apparently, they don't have the actual stock yet, but they have put up listings saying that like they're selling it because they know they're getting the stock, and as soon as they get the stock, they will send it out. So Amazon is getting Movie Masterpiece Barricade instead of, because obviously that was supposed to be Toys R Us because that is their thing up until now. So I'm curious if Nemesis Prime being an Amazon exclusive is also a like handoff, not necessarily like it was intended that way. I know that with Thundercracker, that's shown up at several other places now, like having listings at, was it Entertainment Earth? Do they have?
Entertainment Earth and BBTS both
Yeah.
have them.
Is BBTS is marked up though? I think theirs is.
I don't know off the top of my head.
I
It
want to
might be.
say that I saw it was marked up, but I'm not sure. But I'm curious if this will end up showing up at other, retailers like Entertainment Earth and stuff like that, or if it'll just be Amazon. But I don't know.
I mean, the other listings have shown up on Amazon too, so at the very least, it's a safe bet that you look to Amazon for all of your Power of the Primes exclusives.
Yeah, I never even considered the fact that this could be May Mayhem until you mentioned that, because we already knew about probably Blast Off and Repugnus.
Right.
Although there's also this probably isn't for May Mayhem, but we know of another combiner deluxe, which is Wreck-Gar.
Wreck-Gar,
And
which
then there's another rumored one though, isn't there? Is it Counterpunch?
Counterpunch, which showed up on Amazon.
Yeah. So I have no idea. And now we have this too, which it seems like it could possibly get released in May, which doesn't mean it's May Mayhem, but I'm curious. Are we going to get a lot of May Mayhem, or some of these things May Mayhem, or none of them? So I don't know. I'm just kind of confused now.
Well, I mean, for like Titan's Return, we had the Chaos on Velocitron and the Siege on Cybertron sets come out right around like spring and summer.
Uh-huh.
So I feel like they might not go with a strict like, oh, May Mayhem type of thing where they're going to call it that, but maybe just pad out essentially make the product that releases for the rest of the year all those exclusives, and then I mean, now Predaking is basically an online exclusive, since the one retailer that would have carried it in store is no more.
Apparently some Walmarts carry Titan classes. None of the ones I've ever been to, but it's been reported that some have, and I've seen some other people online saying that they got their Titans at Walmart, which I had no idea that any Walmart sold them.
My Walmart certainly
Still
don't,
not
so.
nearly as many as Toys R Us, because Toys R Us, all of them sold Titan classes, whereas apparently it's a very, very select few Walmarts, but apparently there are some Walmarts. But yeah, so basically, Movie Masterpiece Barricade and Nemesis Prime are both going to Amazon. It's unknown where Movie Masterpiece Ironhide will be going, since that is the next one, but they have till July to figure that out. Whether that'll be like an Entertainment Earth thing or an Amazon thing, just like Barricade, who knows? And the last bit of news, which is, it's nice. Do you know what it is, Miguel? I'm just curious if you can guess.
I can have one guess.
Well, give your guess. I bet it's right.
The one guess that I had. Wait, is it toy related or?
Actually, it's not. Or is
Not.
yours
Okay,
related?
then the one piece of news that I've seen that I was like, oh, that's worth talking about is the fact that IDW has named a new editor in chief.
Yep, you got it.
Yep.
Yeah, John Barber. Which he's responsible for a lot of what people like about IDW, correct?
Yes. Beyond the fact that he's been the main writer for what originally was Robots in Disguise, moved it to Transformers, and is now Optimus Prime. He was, I believe, the main editor for a while for the Transformers side of IDW. So and was sort of the grand architect of making sure that the continuity of the IDW comics stayed together, or figuring out where things that didn't really mesh well in continuity would fit, and the whole thing with figuring out how do we get Hearts of Steel into the main universe and figuring out something beautiful. So the fact that he's now, and he was in that like I guess senior editor position for a while, stepped back, became freelance as a writer, and now is stepping back to being an actual IDW employee, which means that now the fan conventions can't get him anymore.
Oh man. But that is certainly worth congratulations to John Barber. That is awesome. I know he's very excited. I saw him tweeting out. So,
and it might serve as to sort of calm people's nerves.
So yeah, this might be a consolation prize to people who are worried about Iron. IDW's, transition.
Consolation prize might sound a bit weird, but like, yeah, it'll calm people down a bit because it's like, all right, now, however Transformers does move ahead, at the very least, someone who has been regarded as someone pivotal to IDW, especially in recent years, will still be on board. Now that since the past few weeks, we've seen a bunch of the James Roberts leaving. Some of the other creatives were coming out and saying, yeah, some of us might not be working on the books anymore. Like, we don't know. So, it'll be nice to see what happens.
Yeah. So, that is about all we have for news. I did figure that I would give a quick little history lesson today, just for fun, before we dive into the Q&A. And the day of this recording is April 30th, 2018. And there are a couple things. There's, first off, in 1960, Dick Erickson was born, and that is the voice actor for both Spike and Starscream in G2 for the Swedish audience. So there you go, because that's what Jared noted. So I found that interesting too. So I put it in there. And then the other one is Adrian Pazdar in 1965. Was born today, and he is Micronus Prime. I believe in Robots in Disguise. Yeah, it's Robots in Disguise. Yeah, that's the only show Micronus Prime has had a voice in. So there's that. And then also on this day, 2 years ago, just 2 years ago, 2016. Which, wow, I can't believe it was only 2 years ago. Unite Warriors Grand Galvatron was released. God, do I want that set.
It's a great set.
It's weird. It's just weird thinking that was 2 years ago. It almost feels longer. Granted, I've had two of the biggest years of my life in the last 2 years, but...
Yeah, the Unite Warriors is in a weird pocket where a lot of those releases, especially those UWEX sets, the special edition ones, came out when we were starting to get Titans Return, I think, or it felt like we were approaching, because Titans Return, when I think back, is always weird because didn't it start in the summer, whereas most of the Prime Wars trilogy series have started, they've shown up at retail more towards the holiday season?
Yep, it started in the summer. I'm trying to think when did I was gonna say Combiner Wars started around Christmas time, a little beforehand, a little after, kind of. It's still around that time period, and and then Power of the Primes also did, and then whatever we're getting next also is going to be starting at the the beginning of the next year, which is always a couple months before the beginning of the next year. But yeah, Titans Return started in the summer because I actually bought every single price point of Wave 1, literally all the Titan... Actually, I think even Wave 2 Titan Masters... Wave 2 Titan Masters came out with Wave 1 everything else, which was weird. But I got the first 2 waves of Titan Masters. First wave of Deluxes, Voyagers, Leaders, Legends, and Fort Max. And I gathered all of those and did not open them until my birthday on July 23rd. I opened the entire first wave of a brand new toy line, which was really cool. It was a really hard wait, but it was awesome. So
I remember just finding them piecemeal. I found Galvatron one place, I found Sentinel another, I saw the Legends, then the head. I don't think I even the Titan Masters I don't think I picked up initially. And then the Japanese stuff started coming out, so it was all a mishmash.
Mm-hmm. But I have actually, Titans Return is one of my most fond memories of actually collecting, the first wave. That's just, it has a special place in my heart. But anyway.
I remember ordering Fort Max, the Japanese one, and then coming home from work, and my dad being yeah, so I saw that your bank account's like gone. Like you spent a lot of money. I'm like, yeah, and then it showed up, and they're like, can we see that? Like you dropped hefty amount of cash, and I showed it's like that's big.
And it makes music.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's the just cycling through all the sounds and everything, and then when it hits the Headmaster theme, I'm upset that they weren't able, or at least they didn't include the Master Force theme in Grand Max.
I know, I was surprised by that, but what will you do?
Might be a rights issue or something.
It might be. But yeah, so that's about it for that. Moving on to our Q&A list. Skip the first one. We're going to do just the number ones for now.
Okay.
Do you have it pulled up? Or
I do.
Miguel,
Sure.
can you take away our first question?
All right. Question 1. Wait, should I mention who these are from?
Oh, yeah, they're all from Jared Hebert.
Yep.
Who's a regular in the Radio Free Cybertron chat, but also on Twitter, because that's where he submitted them. So it's his Twitter's called Mr. Conductor, but it's at Jared Hebert. So yeah, there you go.
All right. So the conductor asks, if you could write a trade 4 to 6 issues for any IDW Transformers or any series you like, what would it be? All right.
So I'm wondering, are we assuming that this is in the current continuity, or would this be something that would be like its own continuity / the next continuity?
I'll say like take your pick. Do you want it to be part of the next series, or do you want to somehow fit it into the current Phase 2 era?
Oh, you know what? My story doesn't matter because it literally has to do with something they've never really touched on. Technically, they've done Nemesis Prime in IDW, but just Nova Prime calling himself Nemesis Prime like for 2 seconds doesn't count. I would want an actual story arc surrounding a Nemesis Prime, as in a clone of Optimus Prime, becoming his own person and almost like becoming an anti-hero. Not exactly an anti-hero, but almost like the Venom movie seems to be doing, where it's like that type of thing, where it's like an anti-hero, but he's certainly not a great guy, but he has a moral compass almost. But yeah, I think that clone stories are really cool, as Miguel can certainly vouch for that I believe that. So that's exactly what I would want to see, is a clone of Optimus Prime becoming his own being.
Interesting.
For me, what I would do is I would write a story arc about the adventures of Bisk and Thermidor just running across the galaxy doing whatever they feel like.
So actually, quick side note, I just recorded 2 days ago, with the folks at Transmissions for their Patreon exclusive stuff, which is I think called Declassified. We did an episode about it was with 2 of them and also a girl named Lee, about what we would give our pitch to IDW. Well, not even to IDW, because it might not be IDW. We even touch on that, but for what the comics would be, like what this new reboot could be. So we each gave our own pitch as to like who would have the license, who would write it, who would draw it, where's the setting, what's the like story arcs you'd want to set up, stuff like that. So yeah. But the reason I was mentioning that is because they were asking me how I'd work Bisk and Thermidor into the continuity, because I didn't actually put that in my plan. I was like, no, they need to have their own separate adventure where it's just like a buddy cop thing exploring the galaxy, and they can't be involved in like an actual story. You just can't. They have to be their own thing.
That's awesome.
But Miguel, what about you? What's your trade?
I've been trying to like figure out how to piece this together, and this is in some respects might be echoing what you said with your Nemesis Prime story. I would like to see a trade like 4 to 6 issue series where there is a colony ship, I don't know which Cybertronian colony it's from, that lands or is discovered on Earth by whichever country it was that the Combaticons were working for in the ongoing.
Mm-hmm.
So they discover this this ship with Cybertronians, and since they're missing they're missing their powerhouse of the Combaticons, they have the protoforms, if you will, that are on the ship scan their forms, and they basically become the commandos from RID, but they have a last one who they make into an Optimus Prime lookalike who ends up being Scourge.
Ah, nice. Okay.
So then they're on Earth, and we see how this. So so just giving me a way of getting the Commandos and Scourge into the comics, because I would love to. I'd love to just see like more of those characters sort of make their way into the main thing, because even like in Generation 1, they had so many like recolors and everything of the Combaticons. It's like, no, you can just fit them in. Like you can have even like somehow figure out Battle Gaia and then have Bruticus show up, so it's all the different lookalikes fighting.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that'd be so neat. But yeah, so good question. Question 2. I'll take this one. It is, what are 3 Transformer shows you would like to see continued / revived / expanded? So I'm going to say, like, as in, not redone, but, like, just, like, you get sequels to it, is what I'm kind of thinking this means.
Yeah.
So, my 3, animated, for sure. I think there's a lot you could do with animated still. I'd also put in Prime, because what the heck happened to Shockwave? What is, Megatron doing now, / Galvatron, because he's really Galvatron. Yeah, there's just a lot of things I'd still like to see. Although we did, okay, so to be fair, Robots in Disguise is a follow-up, and it does a good job, but I want a follow-up to Predacons Rising, if that makes sense. Like, though that part of the story has never been really expanded on, so I would still like another thing. It could take place during RID, before ID, or after RID. Doesn't matter to me. Just dealing with the other side of things, and it could still weave in RID characters too. I think that'd be neat. But I think that there's still some story left in that continuity. And then last but not least, I would like more to Beast Wars. So I mean, obviously we got Beast Machines, but I mean post Beast Machines, which we were supposed to get. And what was that called? It's
Transtech.
Transtech. I would love to see Transtech. I just totally blanked on the name, but yeah, those are my 3 that I would like to see keep going on. I wouldn't say G1 only because we've gotten so much, but I wouldn't mind it. But those are definitely the top 3 that I would pick for sure, just personally. Miguel, what about you? What are your 3 choices?
Animated, definitely. There's lots of story that could have been fleshed out and everything. Maybe even beyond what we sort of know they were thinking about with season 4. I was thinking Beast Wars, like doing like a Transtech or a similar sequel where we go further into the future. Like if you want to sort of kind of end the Beast era with a trilogy, I'd like to see where they could go, and maybe even try to pepper in some more, like find a place where it's like you pepper in some of what Beast Wars had that Beast Machines was lacking. And then I'll differ with you. Well, I will say I would like to see them expand on the G1 cartoon specifically, because as much as we've gotten other like G1 like stories and everything, I feel like that setting of the G1 cartoon universe is really interesting, like because in some respects it ended on a cliffhanger. So seeing the G1 US cartoon at the very least get some things fleshed out where maybe we go up to, say, even the point of where Power Master Prime gets introduced or something, I think would be cool. And sort of like, ideally, if they could play with the sort of lingering storylines from like season 3, like you had the more tight-knit plots and everything, you had the whole thing of Rodimus being conflicted. Can we continue Rodimus' story now that he's Hot Rod again? He's not the leader anymore. Does like play with that, because I feel like that would be pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's fair. And Jared, what are your 3 picks for this question?
Um, oops, I don't know what that was. Oh, my first pick would be probably like a follow up to Cybertron, like a fourth, like almost like a fourth show in the Unicron trilogy. Because like at the end of Cybertron, it just ends with them like going off into space, colonizing remaining planets or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I would kind of like to see them kind of expand on that a little bit, like maybe introduce some more character arcs or something like that. And I think that might be a little interesting.
All right. What are your other ones?
My other one would be actually a prequel to Transformers Prime, being like a show about how the Autobots arrived on Earth with the Decepticons and whatnot, how they ended up getting like meeting Agent Fowler and working with the humans.
That's
like
a really
offhand.
good idea. I really like that idea.
And it'll give Cliffjumper some well-deserved screen time.
Yep.
Unless they show him in the series finale for 2 more seconds.
It's just him actually like he just shows up and starts driving down the road that he's driving down in the first episode.
Yeah.
It's dirty. Oh no.
I'm not sure what I could do or what I think I would like for the third one. I don't know, maybe like a continuation to the first Robots in Disguise series. I haven't watched that show in a long time, so I can't remember what exactly happens. But
in the end of the show, the Autobots successfully round up Megatron and all of his lackeys. Skybyte's left on Earth, and they're all put in some sort of asteroid prison.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be neat, I guess, to
say
see.
it honestly would not be that hard to keep it going because they're not.
Well,
dead,
no, because you have the Autobots still patrolling space or whatever. So and you have Brave Max, so they could probably be off doing stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah. Next question, Jared. Do you have the list pulled up or no?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Are there any story/arc/characters in IDW that you would have liked to see develop in a different way from how they did or from how they did?
I would have liked there to be almost the crossover events done differently, kind of. But in terms of actual characters, I can only think of one right off the top of my head, and that is actually I could think of 2. I can think of Nova Prime. I wish they would have. I feel like his story was kind of just tossed around at random times almost. It seemed to be going a certain direction, then switched direction, then it kind of switched back, and then Dark Cybertron finished it in a it was a bit odd. I would have liked to see that him fleshed out and have a more gradual return and a build up and be more of a threat, because he was a threat for about 6 issues really. So I would like to see that expand and him become more of a long-term villain. And then the other thing is the DJD. I wish they would have remained a bit longer and been more of an they were a very intimidating force at first, but it's just I wish they would have stayed longer so there was more of a payoff to when they finished, because I really liked them, but if they would have been around even longer and even done some more important things, it would have been even bigger of a deal and they got finished off later. So I would have liked more from those 2 characters/groups. That's about it for me though. What about you guys?
I haven't really read any IDW comic books, so I really don't.
So you're exempt.
No.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Miguel, what about you?
I'm having trouble with this one, like trying to think of something that because I don't know that I've ever felt that a character or a story or an arc was like how it was treated, like it needed to be changed. I think I'll echo what you said of just like the event books. It would have been nice if they were a bit tidier, but like the sort of the nature of the event books, like it makes sense that like they're not going to be perfect. I guess, and I'm having trouble with this one because it's like, and on one end, I feel like Sentinel Prime in the Titans Return sort of tie-in stories could have been used a bit better, but at the same time, I like how it was like he showed up, he did things, and then they did away with him, and then it was like, all right, we can go back to dealing with our other problems. So, like I don't really know. I don't know that I have anything that yeah, I think that's at most that I'd have is like, oh, that's something you probably could have done differently.
The only other thing I could think of is I wish I'm fine with the way they did it with the Beast Wars characters being from another colony world, but I wish they would have been more of a big deal / focused on more. But that's not really anything they did wrong. It's just they didn't get to do that yet, really.
Yeah, I think how they used sort of they just showed up were kind of like fan service, and then they kind of just didn't do anything. Like Rat Trap's a good example of someone that they were able to do a lot with.
Yes.
For someone who was kind of shoehorned in because he had a toy.
Yep. And Waspinator also showed up for a while. I mean, not nearly as much as Rat Trap. Not nearly as much as Rat Trap, but he also did appear and actually do stuff. So.
Well, actually, then okay. How do I want a story developed in a different way than how it did? I want Till All-R-One to still be happening. I want like don't cancel Till All-R-One. That's my thing. I want that story to continue rather than end, at least until the end of the universe.
That's fair. That's fair. All right. So next one. Are there any series you'd rather see altered, improved, or possibly removed from the canon entirely? So that's the thing with Transformers, that it's a multiverse. So in all honesty, you can just pretend like certain things didn't happen and just be like, yeah, that universe is just destroy it. But the only one that I would say is like I wish that it never happened is Kiss Players. But at the same time, there's lots of Kiss Player jokes, but I think we'd probably be better off if it just didn't exist.
See, although I was thinking of that too, but then not with Kiss Players, but I think with like one of the spin-off series, there's this whole like cyclical thing where, what is it? I think in one of them, they somehow, they get a hold of Brave Max and end up crashing in the past on Planet Master. So then the Cybertronians that end up on Planet Master reverse engineer Headmaster technology from Brave Max, which eventually leads to Brave Max's creation. And I like that. There's this whole roundabout thing. And then that's why in the Legends Headmaster Scourge, like there's one of the like prequel comics for him. It shows Brave Max Neo. And it's like, oh, they had got a new Brave Max. It's because at that point, the Headmaster unit that was with Brave Max switched bodies, and a different one took Brave Max's old body and then got crashed in the past. Huh. So this is whole like, if we can maintain that, then fine, get rid of Kiss Players.
Jared, is anything that you would just want wiped from existence?
To be honest, me personally, I would say I would wipe out the RID universe, or at least the TV show for like the spin-off RID from Transformers Prime, not the original one. Just because like I liked how the
you're not allowed to speak from now on.
He killed Bisk.
Yeah, I was gonna say you just wiped Bisk and Thermidor from Transformers, and therefore you're wiped from the show.
Didn't think about that. Oh well.
Okay, but what were you actually gonna say?
I just liked how like Transformers Prime ended with Predacons Rising, just having Megatron just turn and walk away, and Prime giving himself to the Allspark. And
I will say Prime getting revived in Robots in Disguise was kind of cheap.
yeah,
And I actually like the new Robots in Disguise show like quite a bit. It's actually a pretty decent show, but the one thing I would say for sure is that Optimus's revival, it did take an entire season, but it was still pretty cheap. So, yeah, I kind of agree with small parts of that, but no, you can't get rid of Bisque and Thermidor. So,
Get rid of
technically it
G1.
could still be alive, just not shown ever.
technically,
know.
well, Thermidor doesn't, but technically Bisque exists in the Beast Wars Uprising universe, doesn't he? I think. Could be wrong.
I
Probably.
know what Thunderhoof does. I don't know.
Bisque, no,
Bisque-
Bisque does. He's at least mentioned. I don't know if he's seen,
Okay.
but he is in the continuity because he has a wiki page. Thermidor, I don't believe is though, so you have that problem. But yeah,
But yeah, like I said, get rid of G1. Just undo it all.
just no G1 ever. You know, that's a. So, next question. Question 5. Name 1 to 7 toys you would like to see made / redone / fixed. So let's say, name 1 you want to see made that has not been made, 1 you want to be entirely redone, and then for fixed, as in like, how would you remold something but keep it like the same character? Like if you know what I mean, like change one part of the mold but keep the rest of it. So for mine, toy I want made, Tarn. It's a pretty easy one. You can still say it if that's what you were gonna say. Redone. That's actually a pretty tough one. I'll just say it because I can't think of anything better right now. It's hard for me to say. I like Combiner Wars Motormaster as Motormaster, so I'd want him to stay. Like I like how they did Motormaster, but I would want probably the entire thing redone to make a more balanced combiner, as in like balance the 3 modes. Don't just make it good in robot and vehicle mode and then really really suffer in combiner mode. So remold it so it's more sharing of the weight of all those modes, and share. Everyone can have their own flaws, so they're all balanced, is what I should say, in terms of that. And then for improved, this is really really tiny, but it's bothered me for a while. The Combiner Wars Rook mold, his forearms, he has these panels that hang down. I really wish you could just flip them up over the bottom of his forearms. I've always really wanted that. It's a really good toy, but that is the one thing that has always just really bothered me about it. That I would, if it was fixed, it'd just be pretty much like a flawless toy. So that's what I would say. So what about you guys? What do you want to see made, redone, and fixed? Oh wait, honorable mention really quick for fixed is evasion mode Optimus's elbows. But
Oh yeah, definitely.
all right, go ahead, Jared.
I agree with you, Eric. I would love to see a Tarn made in like the Generations line for like a Voyager or Leader class size.
Yeah, I was thinking of
figure.
Voyager, but oh god, a leader would be really cool. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Because I mean, we just need Tarn more.
Oh yeah, this technically doesn't have to be for Generations either. I just want to point
Yeah,
that out. Mine were, but yeah.
Redone. I do not know.
Studio Series Bumblebee.
I was gonna put that as the one I would like to have fixed, because literally I literally have in my hand right now. And literally all you need to do to make one of the major problems of this mold go away is just run a pin through the back panel where the hood and windshield fold up.
So they don't pop off.
Yeah, that's literally all you need to do just to prevent that from happening, and in my opinion, that would improve the figure a lot. I've been lucky enough to get one of the very, very few of this mold to not have any of these problems or any of the problems that have been stated. But Yeah, I would just like to see that fixed for the whole way through. Redone. Um, I don't know. I'm trying to look around and see if I can see something that can pop in my head. Maybe like Cybertron Vector Prime, just have a complete and total new like mold from him to make him better articulated and just more up to scale with the time.
I just thought of two more things. I thought of an actual Computron from Combiner Wars, basically like a new scatter shot. I think would be a good one to have redone better than it was. And then also a slight fix is that Titan class Metroplex is an awesome toy. What if you just widened his like midsection a bit? His proportions would be entirely fixed. He looks like he has a very wide chest, and then his stomach is the skinniest thing in the world. So I think that widening that up would actually help that figure immensely and change almost nothing. So, Miguel, what about you?
Make Titan class Raiden.
All right.
Well, it's one character. He breaks down into 6 bots, sure, but
I
like
was
it
say,
is
yeah,
one.
we've already gotten 2 Titan. Well, we're getting a second Titan class combiner, so that counts.
Like you gotta give. You gotta make them all. You gotta make them all, and like he was the other 6 bot combiner. You gotta do it. Redo. This is the only I kept thinking, and this is the only thing that came to mind. Redo a generation's Huffer that you can do into pipes. I don't want Optimus Prime retool. I want them to have a dedicated mold.
That'll probably happen before too long, I bet.
I hope.
I think
If not them, then do Cliff Jumper. Like give him his own.
Give Cliff Jumper a mold.
His own mold, not a Bumblebee retool.
That isn't Transformers Prime.
Fix Encore Godfire Convoy.
Oh, that's sad, but very true.
Switch the electronics out. Make it from plastic that doesn't stress and decombust when you breathe on it. Maybe even do a thing where, because this is one thing. The Matrix Blade. You get both handles for it. You get the longer handle that allows Godfire Convoy to hold it, but you also get the one that allows the G1 Fort Max mold to hold it. The unfortunate thing is you can only put one of them in. Like, they're not designed to come out.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe even do that. Design it where I could swap those out, because I remembered that briefly from like reading up on when the Sword was originally released, because the Sword was released 3 times. It was released, I think, as a lucky draw, or magazine type exclusive. Then it was released in the Toys R Us gift set with the clear ones, and then the Encore release. And the original one had those 2 handles. I forgot that whatever handle you put in first, you're done. And there was a split second where I was about to put in the Fort Max, the G1 Fort Max handle, and then I was like, no, I'll just put the giant big one, and I'm glad I did, because then I realized later on that you can't take it out. But yeah, fix that Encore set. Fix it so that Takara didn't have to recall it.
That's so sad. But yeah, that's certainly a good one. Question 6. If you could make one box set or wave of any toy line a reality for mass retail or as an exclusive to any store, what would it be and why? So, I don't know if this means something that was canceled or something we would dream of. I think it means something dreamed of, because it would say canceled if it went a canceled one.
I mean, if you want something that was canceled to come back, by all means, too.
I would love to see what the canceled box sets were from Titans Return, but what I would give is, I would say a box set of the Decepticon Justice Division. I think that's the only way you could probably get all of them out. I'd make... This is barring needing to be realistic. I'd make Helix and Tesserus leaders, Tarn a large Voyager, and then Voss and oh shoot, what's his name? Kaon deluxes, and then I'd also have a Legends class Nickel and Legends class Pet, which is shoot, what's his name? It's
Dominus.
Dominus Ambus, correct. Say Minimus Ambus's brother, because we have a Minimus Ambus toy, so that'd be kind of neat to see. But yeah, I'd say that'd probably be what I'd do. I'd do that as a like a really big box set. That'd be super cool. Although, stealing off the Iron Factory idea, it'd be neat if that box set could combine into a
Yeah.
DJD combiner. I wouldn't want that. I want this to be first and foremost a DJD set to make them all good. But having a combine function would be pretty neat. So
And make it be the next, make it be one of the year's Titan class. Just have it combined to like a combiner the size of Devastator or something like that.
oh gosh, yes, that'd be so cool. But yeah, that's my vote. So what are your guys' dreams?
For me, it kind of ties in with the most with an idea that popped in my head for the most from the previous question. And that would be make a box set for the Last Night in Furnicus. And have it be all the 6 bots, but have them be like deluxe size or something like that, and so they can actually like combine into a bot that looks like Infernicus from the actual movie. Either that or do the same thing, but do that with Dragonstorm and just have all the bots.
Oh
that
gosh, that's 12.
I was about to say that one you do them in Legion or Legend class sized figures, and just have them all combined into one big dragon.
See, that would be really cool, though. I mean, in all honesty, I think that you could probably, if you can get 6 Voyagers into a Titan class, now this is not considering parts counts, but you could probably get like 6 smaller deluxes into a, I mean, 12 smaller deluxes into a Titan class combiner. Barring parts counts, of course, because the more parts you have, the harder it is to do, but that type of thing. Also, is Infernicus a 6-member combiner or a 5-member? I thought he was a 5-member.
It was a 5. It was either 5 or 6. I can't remember.
I think the box set, which I want to buy, actually, I need to go to Toys R Us and do that. I think that it was a retool of Beast Hunter's Abominus.
Oh
which,
yeah.
Which it just like basically gave a new torso, but it also did
Yeah.
come with Quintessa, so there were 6 of them in there. It's just one was Quintessa. So really, I think the combiner is 5. Although I don't know if that's accurate to the movie or not. The movie, I would need to watch that again to make sure. But yeah, Miguel.
This could either be a box set or a wave of figures or something. Give me Cybertronian mode Beast Wars characters.
Ooh,
Like,
okay, good.
All of the Days of Future, Days of Future Past, or what is it now? Dawn of Future Past. Days was the X-Men one.
Yeah.
Dawn of Future Past set, but like give them proper,
Molds.
like their own molds and everything.
Mhm.
Do up a new backstory, or even like kind of borrow from the backstory that the BotCon set gave them, but just give them dedicated molds that kind of fit more to their silhouettes from the show, because like Prime's not as massive as the Crumple Zone toy. Although those mold choices were very inspired. I would love to see dedicated ones that even have like incorporate some of those things. Like Prime had could have the swords and like the flip out launchers and whatever. Like they don't have to be like firing missiles or whatever, but just have them all molded and stuff.
Mhm.
Cheeto with his guns.
Yeah.
I think it'd be neat.
So, we're going to do 2 more, and we're going to call it quits. So, next one is, what are some Transformers crossovers, either toys, comics, TV, etc., you'd like to see? For me, it's pretty simple, because I really do not like crossovers that much, like, as in other franchises. I'm assuming that's what it means. That's definitely what it means. I was going to say, 'cause Transformers... Yeah, I'm almost certain it means like as in the Star Wars crossover toys, or like, Marvel. Almost all of them have been done. There was some neat art I've seen for DC crossovers, but again, I don't really need it. I think that the only things I would really like to see are possibly just Transformers and GI Joe, like as in GI Joe for just a little bit on the big screen, so movie, or even a TV show. I think it could be cool, but not anything major. And then this is just a personal thing. I don't know if I'd actually want it to happen, but just an idea that I'm pretty sure I'm like the only person that's ever said this. But a video game where Halo and Transformers crossed over, like to see the Transformers, because Halo, we have no idea where and when it takes place. You know, big universe. So you could have the Transformers show up and transform into UNSC vehicles and Covenant vehicles. I think that'd be kind of cool. So, yeah, there's that.
Oh no! Then Cortana goes all haywire and somehow infects Cybertron.
Oh gosh. Where is Halo 6? Just gotta put that out there. But anyways,
Cortana versus Unicron.
oh my gosh, Cortana would become Unicron.
Cortana becomes Unicron. That's my crossover. Cortana with crossover with Unicron.
Maybe that's the secret twist to the IDW ending with the Unicron story. It's like, this is actually Cortana! Oh gosh. Anyways. Miguel, is that your only pick?
I can't actually think of anything. Like the aborted DC / Transformers crossover, I thought had a lot of interesting ideas, like the whole thing of like Optimus Prime becomes a Green Lantern. I'm like, that would be interesting.
Uh-huh. Like, I like the idea of it. I just don't know. I just don't like
The Matrix.
I just don't like crossovers. I don't know.
A power ring. It's like how powerful is he now?
Yeah, it's true. Matrix and Power Ring. When he put the Power Ring in the Matrix, what?
He puts the Matrix in the lantern and then does the oath.
What? Oh jeez.
And then kills Unicron that way.
Oh my god.
I think that and that's more reviving an old concept. I would have liked to see where that could have gone. I don't really know that I have anything, because when things cross over, it's like not always. I guess one thing probably is like do like what most people say, do Star Wars cross Transformers, but do it where it's Transformers characters turning into the vehicles from Star Wars. Not it's the Star Wars vehicles turning into the robotic characters, like the roboticized characters from Star Wars.
Yeah, I'm with you. That's how I would like to see it done. But again, I don't care for crossovers. I like my fiction. I like my franchises separate. You know, like I like Infinity War type crossovers where it's like everyone from the franchise crossing over. That I'm okay with.
Or even like Turtles Forever type of crossover, where it's like the multiple different generations crossing over together.
I think it'd be cool to have a Transformers multiverse crossover, but yeah.
Yeah.
Jared, what about you?
I don't know. Maybe like somehow manage to work them into like a Marvel Cinematic Universe or something like that, where the Autobots team up with like the Avengers or something, or like the Autobots team up with the Avengers to take out Thanos or even Galactus or something like that. Where they would integrate the Decepticons. I don't know. Have Unicron be with or team up with
Unicron team
have
up
Unicron
with, like,
team up with
Thanos or Galactus. Unicron versus Galactus would be interesting to see.
Yeah.
It's like a pie eating contest, but with like existence.
Existence eating contest, but yeah. And then the last question, which this one's pretty easy. I don't think we all have to answer this one. Is will Steel City Bots ever be done live on YouTube / Twitch? Well, what do you say, Miguel and Jared?
I'd be down.
I mean, we keep toying with that idea of like the Steel City Bots road trip. We could probably live stream that for a day, see whatever crazy shenanigans we get up to.
I was gonna say when that happens, because that'll happen at some point. There definitely will be some sort of a live stream from it. But I have been trying to toy around with the possibility of doing the show live. Cannot promise any dates. I would say that I'm going to do most of the experimenting and trying to figure out over this summer, though. So by fall, I know that seems like a long ways away, but we're pretty much at summer now. So throughout the summer, I'll be experimenting with it and hopefully getting it set up so it's all solid. And once it is, then you may be getting your Steel City Bots live stream on YouTube whenever we record on Monday nights. So possibly, but no promises as of yet. Just want to put that out there. I typically try not to announce anything until it's solid, but the live streams are the one thing that I've been toying around with as our next big project in terms of what we want to get done. So, yeah, there's that. So yeah, that's about it for this episode. Thanks for listening. You can listen to this show and all of our other shows, which we have plenty other Transformer shows, Star Wars shows, superhero shows, the anime shows, all of that on our Nerdy Geek Talk podcast network, which you can check by searching Nerdy Geek Talk and subscribing on any of your favorite podcast listening places. You can go to YouTube if you want, but also iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, Podbean, all that good stuff. Subscribe to Nerdy Geek Talk. Also follow at Nerdy Geek Talk on Twitter. And there's also at Steel City Bots on Twitter for this show. This is the only show that has an active Twitter. Awesome Asylum also does have a Twitter. This is the only show that has an active Twitter. But then individually, you can find myself at Eric Crowbar on Twitter and also at Aramis Prime on Instagram, if Instagram is your thing, and also in a bunch of Transformers Facebook groups. Jared, where can people find you on the interwebs?
You can find me on Twitter at Jared Proco. That's where I'm at all the time, pretty much. If you want to know my opinion on something that might happen in the universe or like the Transformers universe or anything like that, ask away. And if I'm there and if I see the notification, I'll try to answer.
Miguel.
People can find me on Twitter at Logos Minor. If you want to tweet at me, talk to me about anything.
Like souffle.
Yeah, souffle. Yeah. I mean, I haven't made a souffle in recent.
Exactly. He needs some motivation, guys.
Yeah,
Motivate.
I need some. Okay, fine. Yes, I need some motivation to make a souffle. So yeah, tweet at me. Motivate me to make a souffle.
Yeah, a new requirement. If you listen to this and have a Twitter, please tweet at Logos Minor to make a souffle. That is our request. Steel City Bots will retweet every single tweet that is asking Miguel to make a souffle. Try to tag Steel City Bots so we know. But yeah, there you go. There's your fun little activity for the week. That's about it. So thanks for listening, and I think that's it. So we'll catch you next week. Bye.
Sayonara.
Someone had to say it.
Yep.